Hello and thanks for joining us on the program, everyone. I am Precious Amayo. Let's start in the U.S., where an armed man has been shot dead after entering the secure perimeter of U.S. President Donald Trump's Mar-A-Lago residence in Florida. Mar-A-Lago is heavily secured with multiple layers of protection and thorough screening of visitors and vehicles. Authorities say the 21-year-old man, identified as Austin Martin from North Carolina, was carrying a shotgun and a fuel can when he was confronted by Secret Service agents and a Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy early Sunday morning. Sheriff Rick Bradshaw said officers ordered Martin to drop the items. He put down the gas can, then raised the gun. Bradshaw said agents fired to neutralize the threat. No law enforcement officers were injured. Martin had been reported missing by his family earlier that morning. Officials have confirmed he had no prior criminal record, but are still investigating where he obtained the firearm. U.S. Secret Service Director Sean Curran traveled to Florida to review the incident. Trump has faced prior assassination attempts, including a shooting in Pennsylvania last year and an attempted attack at Trump International Golf Club. Security experts say incidents like this highlight ongoing concerns over political violence in the U.S. Now, for more on this, global affairs analyst Kule Falowo joins me from Indianapolis, U.S. Good to have you join us, Kule.
Thanks for having me.
So this is the latest incident in a long list of security threats against the President Trump, in recent years. But we know how fortified Mar-A-Lago is, and I'm wondering how something like this could happen with such security, a presence of security at his residence.
Absolutely. So Mar-A-Lago is a private space for the president. We all know that the president has a golf resort where there are troops of people that come to visit, come to play golf, important personalities that come to visit the president. It also has some, high-profile individuals who do come over to Mar-a-Lago to talk business, to relax, and do other things. We all know also that Mr. President is a successful businessman. Having said that, sometimes some people disguise under the guise of trying to get in and do harm, or sometimes they try to do something very diabolical. And this is one of those incidences where a situation occurred on Sunday. Thankfully, the Secret Service was very capable, and they were able to neutralize the threats. But also, I would commend the Secret Service for doing a wonderful job at protecting the United States president. It's very important that um, you know presidents and high dignitaries are protected, because it doesn't even matter what policies or what party you voted for or you want in power. You have to respect the rule of law. And if you want a change in the polity, it wouldn't be the use of a gun to settle scores or to do harm that will solve the problem. You have to do it the right way. Go and protest if you need to, write to your legislature if you need to. Um, During the election, vote for the candidate that you prefer if you need to. But gun isn't
So,
going to be
Kule,
the solution to it.
and I get it, but we'll get back to that in just a moment. But I'm wondering, because we're talking about commending the security service, but could this lead to further congressional hearing on the effectiveness of the Secret Service, considering what we saw the first time there was an attempted assassination of the president as well?
So when the politics unnecessarily heat up, in this case, where the political climate is very high tensioned, everybody seems to be on the edge on both sides of the aisle. Things like this tend to happen across spectrum. For example, um, the Pennsylvania governor, uh, Mr. Shapiro, was his mansion was raised by fire by some alleged individual, and also a Democratic lawmaker and her husband in Minnesota was also shot at not too long ago. So this happens across the board, and individuals, um, you know, with some leanings, sometimes with political leanings, tend to carry out this disorderly act. And again, security operatives will continue to do their job to neutralize every suspect trying to do that.
And this sort of takes my mind back to 1960s, where we saw very high political assassination in the U.S. If you remember, of course you do, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, and a host of others. And I'm wondering if America is in the throes of 1960s again in terms of political assassination.
Well, like I said, especially when the politics is very heated, there are consenting views, and when that happens, a lot of people becomes emotional. People aren't rational anymore. They're not thinking very deeply, and sometimes um, we see things like this. Now, this is really absurd, especially in this political age and time. But that's not to say that um, it's limited to the United States. Other places, other climes do witness incidents like this, but particularly, it's very rampant. It seems to be very rampant in America. Not too long ago, we had the incident with Charlie Kirk, that was also shot at and assassinated broad daylight. Uh, so things like this do happen, but it also underscores the importance of mental health, because when you notice the demographic of individuals attempting to carry out this disorderly act, you notice that some of them are quite younger. This particular individual, which by the way is still under investigation as to what the motive is, he's in his 20s and early 20s for that matter. And according to a recent report, it shows that he doesn't have any prior convictions or felons or anything like that. And he was also a golf enthusiast. So, with no political affiliation. So, what could have led to something like this? So, hopefully, we would like to see what the outcome of the investigation is, which would kind of help to paint a better picture of what was going on in his head.
So you mentioned two things I'd like us to unpack. One of them, you mentioned how assassination attempts, especially politically motivated ones, are a shared experience in other countries as well, but not in the level of the frequency we've seen. In the US, America is a seat of democracy in the world. It's always prided itself in its democracy. Shouldn't this be worrying that it is now intolerant to ideologies and policies?
Yeah, it's a very worrying concern. And that's why I said this is not something that is just apolitical. It's something that we all have to be collectively concerned about. Nonetheless, for every grieving individual or every grieving, um, you know, citizen who is not very comfortable with what's going on political wise, the only way is not to use guns and ammunition. It's not wise. It's not safe to take the laws into your hand. We have rules and regulations. There are ways to go about it. If you if you're not impressed with the current political climes, wait for the round of election. We're having a midterm. Go out there and vote for your preferred candidates. If you want a political change,
But
go out there and
I just
do
have
it the right way.
all right, I have a minute left, so I had to interrupt just so I can get in this question, because you talked about mental health, and I'm wondering if this is not more of a tolerance issue. But President Trump is pretty much not open to the review of gun laws. Could this push him to at least begin to talk about it?
Well, that's for the president. We all know what his stand is, and is the other, especially Republican, his political party. We all know what the stand is. Will this be some form of a clarion call to make some policy changes when it comes to gun laws? I highly doubt it.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We're following developments on that. The president has yet to react. I will see, how he responds to this. Thank you, Global Affairs Analyst